This is Izzy Dakota Jones here with the Art of Doing podcast 2021, and we're going to be talking to a friend of ours. I think he's one of the first podcast guests I had. He's been in the movie industry for a while himself, and as a producer and a director. I got to know. He's from Argentina. He's going to tell you where he's from South America. And we're going to talk to Javier about the interesting times we're in right now and what he's been doing up to now. I don't know if he's been writing scripts, getting ready to do any more filming. He's an independent film producer who's done very well, won many awards, and we're going to have a chat with Javier really quick here in a few seconds. So hang in there. 2021 COVID with Javier, a return guest on the Art of Doing podcast.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. So let's talk a bit about what you've been up to during COVID. What have you been doing, like music? Musically wise, and also in film.
Man. Right on. Yeah. So COVID has given me time to sit at home and edit a whole bunch of projects that I had on the back burner that had not been, I couldn't make any progress because I was busy being outside of the house. Now being in the house, now I was able to catch up with a whole bunch of stuff.
That's what it does, right? It gets you, you're more stuck at home like everybody, and we're just finding to do more production sort of stuff, right? And writing and stuff, right?
Exactly, totally. So it's mostly been filmmaking, like recently, just because I have a whole bunch of movies or music videos, hint, that are sitting in my library, and I was able to finish them, dude. So I'm very excited about that. And in terms of music, like the band is obviously in hiatus until we're able to play gigs again. But I've just been here touring away with my quattro and trying to see if I come up with a couple new songs. And, not super focused because most of the focus has been on films, but yeah, jamming here at home. I actually yesterday went out for a jam for the first time since the shutdown. I went to the Pandora there on Pandora. And
Yeah. And
man, they were really well set up for the COVID distancing and all that. Everybody wears masks and. The offices are kind of off limit. They even have a drum skin as screen separator between the people. It was pretty funny because it's one of those big transparent drum skins.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was pretty clever. And,
so you guys were rehearsing. So you sort of just started getting sort of back together a little bit, I guess, eh?
Yeah, but very casual, more like a jam, not very focused on like, okay, let's write new song, or okay, let's prepare for a gig. It wasn't like that.
Yeah.
Let's pick up an instrument.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I know it's been interesting times. So you've been doing a lot of editing and getting your films done and stuff like that because it gives you the time. I know we were talking a while back too during COVID when it was like really hitting us hard. I remember you're also saying that you had some time too to watch some movies and stuff too, right? Just catch up on stuff you haven't seen or you have seen. What kind of movies were you watching during COVID? Because I find that interesting.
Yeah.
Since you're
for sure, man. I mean, I got a Netflix subscription here, so. Me and my girlfriend watch a bunch of Netflix shows, comedies and dramas. She also rented books, borrowed movies from the library, which you're able to do now. So you can take them home and watch the DVDs on your own time. So let's see. Yeah, we just watched a funny comedy with Will Ferrell yesterday called what's the name? Eurovision.
Oh, okay.
We watched Eurovision. It was pretty funny. I don't know if you've seen it, but that was kind of like a funny, hitting all the marks comedy. So that's one we just watched. Also, we had a movie from a DVD from the library which we've been wanting to see called For Sama, as in Sama, and it's a documentary that is brutal. It's about the a nurse and her husband, a doctor, in Syria, like in the middle of the war, and how they decided to stay to help out the people that also wanted to stay, because they were the only doctors in this small town in Syria. And it's pretty much video from the wife, for the mother, towards her daughter, who is a baby, a toddler. She's maybe 2 or 3 years old. And the kid obviously doesn't know what's going on, but they're trying to keep a straight face and trying to keep her entertained during the bombardments and during, like, all this crazy, war going on around her. And so she made a documentary about it, and it's called For Sama. And man, Sama's the name of the daughter, and it's for her to see it when she grows up, basically, when she becomes
Wow, interesting.
It's amazing, man. If you get a chance to look it up, it's called For Sama. Anyway, so that's another one that we just recently watched. I think we've been catching up with a whole bunch of old movies that we hadn't seen, which is great. I rarely give myself enough time to sit through an entire movie. I'm always running somewhere, and it's like, I gotta watch this movie, but
That's good. So when you're watching these movies, do you get ideas for your filming and your directing?
Oh yeah. Both my partner and I, we write screenplays here at home, right? So
Right.
This is great for research material, and also great for just studying screen structure, like movie structure, and seeing how they're made, seeing how they're written, and then we kind of learn from that and apply it onto our own screenplays, which we've had time to write now that we're all at home.
Yeah.
We actually get a chance to actually write scripts, which is great. Yeah.
Yeah, very
and
interesting.
apply for grants. You know how that is, right? You got to write something, but you also got to apply for money to make it.
Yeah.
And that's a whole nother,
a whole other process. Yes. And I guess right now, you're just you're in that area, time where you can. I mean, film industry is just coming back now, right?
That's it.
Yeah, it's just coming back.
So I guess, like, basically, yeah, exactly. So because it's getting back, means that a whole bunch of friends are actually going out to shoot in film sets with the whole social distancing, and they need to have very, very specific. Due to insurance and liability, they now need to add new what do you call this, measures. Like, for example, having a COVID station. Like, they have an actual station on every film set, so that if there's any concerns, they can just go to the COVID nurse, or COVID representative. It's a union thing now.
Yeah.
So
interesting.
It makes things a little bit more complicated, a bit slower, but the industry has to keep churning out their movies right here in Vancouver. It's a big industry, right?
It's huge here. Yeah, it's huge. Yeah, and I imagine right now it's like, from what I understand too, it's getting bigger right now because I hear there's a lot of Canadian actors working up here because a lot of the Americans can't get up here right now, right?
That's it, exactly. The whole borders being closed and limitations on travel. Definitely, then there's a lot more Canadian actors. In fact, I had just read the news that a friend of mine, she's a very seasoned Canadian actress here from Vancouver. She finally got a lead on an American movie as a Canadian actor, and without having to pretend to be American at all. Saying that to her was a major achievement, and it makes us all very proud at the same time, because we're all like, wow, holy crap, we are, we're not just like the make believe Americans. We're actually making Canadian presence for what we are, and it's really awesome.
Yeah. So I guess for you, when you're doing when you're looking to get your grants and stuff to do your film, any independent films coming up now, you're going to have to, I guess there's a few more loopholes you're going to have to jump through, I guess, eh?
Yeah. Grants are, they're always changing, and recently Telefilm, the main funding body for films, they've just implemented some new categories for. They're calling it the racialized, for lack of a better name, because apparently they've been hit with a lot of controversy lately for racism and sexism in their, you know how the whole hashtag Me Too thing came around, you know, a few years ago.
Yes.
And so that has permeated, has cleared up a lot of toxic air that was in the film industry, including the funders and the institutions. And so Telefilm got hit with one of those complaints, and now they've been kind of checking all their grants that weren't reaching all the community. It was just reaching a very few number of select filmmakers. And so now they're opening up and saying, "Hey guys, we're sorry. We're gonna redo the whole grant thing. Try to distribute the money a bit more fairly, you know." And so they now have like new programs that I'm applying to, because now I qualify. You know, it's like I can actually apply for these things now. It's like, holy shit, this is great. Maybe I can actually get some money for my next films. You know?
Yeah, that's cool. So it's actually opened up some doors. That's interesting. Yeah.
It is. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's good. That's good. So, what are you working on right now? Do you have something specific you're working on?
Yeah, for sure, dude. I'm still finishing up my Syrian refugee movie that I told you about years ago.
Yes.
That now, because it's all micro budget, all self-financed, I couldn't get any grants or institutions to back me financially. Partly because it was my first feature film as a director, so obviously there's like, well, you know, what have you done before? It's like, I really, you know, just done small movies, short films.
Short films, yeah.
Feature, that's it. I've done lots of shorts, but it's not the same. Doesn't qualify you to get money for features, and so I've had to finance it myself, basically, through crowdfunding and all that. So finally, after 5 years, I'm now at the final stages of the movie, where I'm doing the music and the color and the editing and all that. So we've done a whole bunch, and I think at this point we only have left the score. So a composer is going to be doing the score out in Barcelona. A friend of a friend, he's scoring the music out in Barcelona. And the visual effects, so there's a few visual effects shots still left to be done. Where there's a helicopter flying overhead, then there's some smoke in the background, like far away in the distance, as in like freshly bombed areas in the desert. So all that is visual effects, compositing, digital effects, that sort of stuff. And so I have a team working on it, you know, slowly, obviously, because at my budget level, I can't really go faster. I can't, right? It's either you got the money to do it fast, or you just, you have all the time in the world to do it well, but slowly.
Yeah. In other words,
anyway, so
I see what you're saying. You want to get it right and not have mistakes, and then you have to go back, right? Because that's time consuming.
Totally.
Yeah.
So you want to take it slow and better getting it right, because, you know, once the movie is out there, forget it. There's no way for you to correct any mistakes, right?
Yeah.
Out there. And
Once it's out there, it's out there. Yeah. I hear you. That's interesting. So while you're doing that right now, like you said, you just started jamming again, going back to music. I guess right now you're going to slowly start trying to get that put back together too, right? Because of COVID, right? Because there was no place to play. There's hardly anything going on, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, I have a buddy of mine. I mentioned a buddy. He's got or he runs the Legion out in what's the name of that island?
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Anyway, he's got like a Legion out there, and he's starting to do shows outdoors. And I've actually seen a couple already. There's a few places that have outdoor gigs with bands playing outside, and so he's got that going over through the summer and up until November. And so he's actively looking for bands. I had to tell him I couldn't, because, you know, my guys are not ready to play gigs live again. So he's like, you know, if you know anybody, send them my way. That's what he said, and so we're in touch. But other than that, it's mostly just staying home and writing songs, or just like the random jam, just to kind of get the dust off our bones.
Exactly. Exactly. And I mean that takes time. And like you said, as you're doing that, you get to write a lot of songs. That's the best thing. I hear that with a lot of musicians. A lot of musicians are getting a lot of songs done, and I imagine the same thing you with your scripts and your film. You can sit down and you got the time to actually get things done, right?
Totally, Joe. Totally. It's actually, the silver lining in all this is that at least for the creative types that wish they had more time in their schedules to do their creative work, now
Yeah.
they got no excuse. Now is the time.
Yeah. Now, if you're not doing it now, then you got a problem, right?
Yeah, exactly. Then you're in the wrong career.
You're in the
You're in
wrong
the
career.
wrong
It's time to pack it in. Yeah. I don't know what you've been dreaming, but forget it. It's over, right?
Yes, exactly. I mean, it doesn't get any clearer than this.
Yes.
Anyway.
So how's things like back home, where you're
Well,
originally from?
Venezuela,
Yeah.
back in Venezuela, things are still difficult. Venezuela is hasn't really gotten out of the problem that they're in with the dictator
Yeah.
Maduro. He's still in power, still repressing any kind of opposition, and so it really hasn't sorted itself out. We're kind of a lot of people are just waiting it out to see how long he can last. 'Cause we think that he can't sustain the current, economy crisis in Venezuela, the inflation and the poverty, and it's all rising and rising. And there's got to be a point where he just will not get any support whatsoever, even from the people that work for him. That's part of the hope. I think that would be it. I know that everybody kind of has to contribute a little bit towards his what do you call this, removal from office.
Yeah.
And I think I do that through my music here in Vancouver and my movies. I get a chance to write a bit of that into my artwork, but yeah, I'm sure there's a lot more to be done there than.
Yes, and I guess you kind of like that inspires you too, right? I mean, the situation there, and you still have family there too, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I got uncles and cousins. A lot of them have left. Those who could afford it, man, they would just leave. I mean, they don't care where. They got any connection going on in any South American country or Spain. They will just, they jump at the opportunity because, there might not be a second chance to get out, right?
Right. And are they ending up in the States too? I hear there's a lot of people going.
Yeah. That's it. I mean, it depends whether you have any families already in the States. It kind of helps out the fact of leaving, or if you have a job that is in high demand in the States, like mining or oil or that sort of stuff, then then you get a better chance. Otherwise, whichever country, a lot of people leave as refugees as well, right? I know a few refugees here in Vancouver that left Venezuela, and when arriving here in the airport, they have to go to the office and declare that they are not planning to go back.
Yeah.
And then for sure, and then they're put into a special program. And I work with the society, the Venezuelan Canadian Society of British Columbia here.
Oh, cool.
And I'm part of the board of directors. And so what I do with them is do fundraiser events so that when families from Venezuela arrive here to Vancouver, we're able to support them, to connect them with the jobs, to give them guidance when they arrive to Canada, which has been more and more, right? Like it wasn't that way 10 years ago.
No, it must be really piling up. I hear this quite a what people want to get out, right? Yeah,
for sure. And there's that, and then the society's mandate was mostly cultural, or it still is mostly cultural and arts, right? We just want to bring the music, but now it's kind of turning into being a humanitarian supporting society, right? It's a bit of a change, but it's necessary. There's no way around it, right? You're gonna have to.
Yeah. So it's the situation's growing and changing. I imagine just even with COVID around too, right? It's just I mean things are changing and growing. I mean it's interesting times right now, right? Very interesting times we're in. Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad that we're here. You know, in Canada, there's lots of opportunities for immigrants and for refugees, and for us who, I mean, I've been here for over 18 years, so I'm pretty well established in Canada, right, as a Canadian.
Yeah, you are. Yeah.
So that allows me to, you know, as a citizen of Canada, I can apply for grants or I can apply for support for charities and whatnot, right, and then use some of my Canadian, superpowers to be able to help the Venezuelan people, not only in Venezuela, but also, say, in Peru, for example. There's a lot of Venezuelans, so we send them food from here to the Peruvian support groups that receive Venezuelans that walk in by foot, right? They just carry whatever backpack they can and literally walk to Peru. And so we, from here, we try to help them out by doing fundraisers. We did a KMS Tools. You know KMS Tools out in Coquitlam there, by the IKEA.
Okay, yes.
They provide us with like a fundraising platform where they give us hot dogs and smokies, and we just kind of do a smoky cook-off for 3 days, and whatever money we raise from that, we can just use it towards buying food and like, you know, diapers and baby formulas and all these things that we eventually send over to Peru or Ecuador or all these countries where most
where the people are. So they're exiting and going there too, right? Yeah.
That's it. Oh yeah. They bring their kids, their families. And they just
Yeah, and that must be taxing on like Peru and Ecuador too, right?
Oh, massive. They don't have the infrastructure. They want to help, but they can handle, you know, 30, 50,000, but it's millions. You know, they just can't handle millions. You know, it's too many people, right? It's about almost 5 million Venezuelans, which is like 10% of Venezuela has left. And
that's
so
wild.
It's a wild number, and so, you know, they are going everywhere they can, and Latin American countries being the closest and easiest to arrive by road, by bus, they can just leave and then hope to get support because they don't have any money or food. So once they arrive, there's charities that we support from Vancouver to help them. You know, there's more organizations that will help, but we are one of them. Yeah.
Right on. That's really good. I didn't know that. That's great. And so
yeah, brother.
So does that keep on going? You guys, how often do you keep that rolling out? You must have to.
Well, it's every time that we do a fundraiser, we divvy up the money that we raise here into all the societies or the charities that are in various countries. So let's say that we raise, I don't know, $3,000. Then we cut it up into all the societies that we are supporting directly. Right. One of them being the one in Peru I was mentioning, where there's a person down in Peru who is our connection there, and that person will receive the money, whatever share she gets, and she will buy the things to help the family survive. You know, it's kind of like something. What was it she saying? Like with $35, you can support the livelihood of a small family for about 3 weeks. So it's not bad. Like you can actually, the money goes a long way. You know.
Cool. That's cool. That's really good that
you're
buddy. Doing that. That's great. And so getting back to film, because I know, like we said, the music's in progress, but you know we're going to be a while yet, all of us. So film wise, what are you looking at? You're applying for some grants. You're working on a new script.
I am. Yeah.
Yeah. When do you think you're going to have some? You have a timeline, or you're just going to just wait till you have things together?
Well, I mean, it's the whole writing process can be you can have a few projects. You don't need to have necessarily just the one. So,
yeah.
So right now I have, for example, 3 movies that I am concurrently writing. So we jump between one and the other. So when we get stuck on one, we just jump to the other movie and we can push that other one, and so on and so forth until we write the 90 pages that we need for these movies, right? So for example, like we have an alien comedy, an alien invasion comedy, right? Set in New Mexico. It's a punk rock, a Mexican American punk rock queer chick who is like, facing the invasion of these earworms, and she realizes that her punk rock, like really noisy punk rock, is what drives these aliens crazy, and so she has to figure out how to do that with the rest of the world. Nobody likes her music.
But the aliens might like it.
Yeah, but the aliens are like, shit, what the heck is this kind of noise you're making? And so she has to find out how to, save the planet by playing her punk rock and kicking the alien invasion out. Anyway, that's one of the ones we're writing. Yeah, so we kind of go all out in like writing crazy concepts that sound fun, movies that I want to watch, movies that would be fun to watch, So those are the ones that I focus my time writing here with Natalie, with my girlfriend. So she and I would sit here for hours and look at a board and like put little cards with all the plot points of the movie and like, well, what would be great if this happened, or we throw ideas around until we have a good script going. Anyway, yeah. So
that's
it's taking most of our time. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's good because that that keeps you sane, right? I mean, at this stage,
exactly.
I mean, it could be rough otherwise if you're just sitting around doing nothing, right? So you guys got something. You got something. And like you said earlier, you're watching films, and so watching old movies and stuff, and that inspires you to look at how things are done, right? So that's pretty good. You've got a nice little creative thing going on, right?
That's it. Gotta keep that going. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. So like you said, there's no timeline. You're just working on the scripts right now. That'll be good. What we'll have to do is we'll have to get back to you when you get something out.
Yeah, man, for sure. I mean, like what I do is that when a script is done, instead of waiting for me to get the money to make a movie,
yes,
I do a table read. So I invite friends and I invite other actors and people to just come into a big room. I guess now COVID will make it different. But maybe what we do is that we all go into this big room, either virtual or not, and then we read the script out loud, and everybody has a different role. And then we kind of ham it up and pretend that we're making this movie just by reading it off the page. And it's tons of fun. Yeah.
That's a really good idea. That's great.
Yeah. It's like you're reading a novel out loud, right? You're reading a book.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
Very interesting. That's a good concept. That's a very cool concept.
Thanks, man. Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
The stuff I really like. Punk rock music and like, and a strong female protagonist that kicks ass, and the alien invasion and comedy. It kind of has a good mixture of things that I like.
There you go.
Yeah, buddy.
Alrighty. Well, I want to thank you for hooking up with me on this, and I'll see you at the coffee shop soon.
For sure, Joe. That's awesome. Hey, dude, and happy birthday! I got your birthday gift. Where do I send it? I need your email address.
Send it to Ken. Get Ken.
Oh, I was gonna say I'll just send it to Ken.
Alrighty.
Thanks, Joe.
I'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow, bud.
Bye.
Bye.
That was Javier, everybody. I hope you enjoyed having that conversation with him. It's lots of fun talking to him. He knows a lot, has a lot going on in the film industry, and it was an intriguing conversation. So we'll be talking to you real soon. Stick around. Talk to you again. Other Doing Podcast. This is Dakota Jones. Bye now.